What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JTW Sports Show. We're back, man. We're ready to talk about some NFL news. TJ, Will, how you guys doing this morning, man?
Go ahead, TJ.
No, you first. You first.
I'm great. We had weights this morning, little morning podcast recording. We usually do this in the afternoon, so it's a little different, but I'm feeling good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Lots of stuff going on in the NFL. Feel alive, feel awake.
Good. I'm glad. We got to get all pepped up, man. It's still early in the morning. Again, we'd wait till 6 a.m., so that's always fun. But, hey, before we get started, I do want to give a big shout-out to Elevate Nutrition. As you guys know, they are our sponsors. So big shout-out to them. They're actually holding this thing. So every weekend, every game day, Saturdays, when we have home games, go to Elevate Nutrition, and every single person to walk in automatically gets the JTW code used for half off your protein shakes or $1 off your energy teas. Super cool deal, super cool gig. We love them over there. Shout out to you guys, Elevate. Thanks for sponsoring. Thanks for always helping out. Let's get straight into it. There's been so much going around the league, so much big news that's been going on recently, and really surprising. Will, look, dude, you're a Panthers fan. I'm gonna let you take it away. Talk to me.
Hey, we got the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, Stefan Gilmore. He was released by the Patriots, and then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, it came out that the Panthers had traded a 6th-round pick for Stefan Gilmore. So within the last 2 weeks, the Panthers have traded a 3rd and a 6th-round pick to get C.J. Henderson and Stefan Gilmore. If you ask me, that's a steal for both of them. I mean, C.J. Henderson was the 9th overall pick, I think, in 2020. Yeah, and then Stefan Gilmore, obviously he's been in the league for a while. He's 31 years old, but the last season he played, he's Defensive Player of the Year. He sat out last year because of COVID. Hasn't played this year because of contract disputes and whatnot. But
he's on the injured.
Yeah, he's still on the PUP, the PUP list.
Yeah,
the PUP list.
But he's not actually injured. It's
just, but now that he's been traded, does that still roll over?
Yes.
Or is he cleared to play this week?
No, he can play week 6.
That's what I thought.
But still, dude, week 6. Not only going to have CJ actually have some actually idea of the Panthers defense, the schemes and everything, and the plays. Dude, you still got J.C. Horn. He's out for a while, but he's going
to be out for the season.
Jeremy Chin,
Hassan Riddick, Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson looks rejuvenated this year. I mean,
it's the number changes, man. I'm telling you.
Who'd have thought that a good old Panthers team could turn around and the 2020
we still got a long way to go. I mean, McCaffrey's back at practice yesterday. They're projecting him to play this week. I mean, I just looked at fantasy this morning. They have him projected 27.5 points per game or points this week, and I'm like, we're playing the Eagles, so. But I mean, that's crazy. But
an Eagles defense though that is performing, I'd say average.
Yeah,
I mean they're not doing great, but they're not doing terrible
against the run. I'm pretty sure they're last. But against the pass, they're pretty decent. But that's a big, a big signing, a big trade for the Panthers. Not only for this year, but looking forward to next. You think about J.C. Horn coming back, Dante Jackson's a free agent, probably let him go. You have that. That's a 3-headed monster, in my opinion. That's 3 first-round picks playing corner. That doesn't happen often. And then another big thing that literally just happened right before we started recording was Jalen Smith signing with the Packers. This one shocked me. I mean, the Stefan Gilmore one shocked me, but I knew he was holding out because of contract and whatnot. So they said he was going to, possibly be traded. But who thought that the Packers or
one of the best linebackers in the league?
Yeah,
it was the Cowboys that released him.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Jerry Jones doesn't make the greatest decisions though when it comes down to things.
Hey, I don't want to hear Jerry Jones slander this year. He's been doing too good. He's been doing pretty.
Oh, the team's been doing good. Jerry Jones.
But he was one of the main decisions in getting Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons has been showing out. Not only was he really good at linebacker, but when they needed him, he played defensive end, and he's been balling.
He doesn't have a position. He's a football player now.
He does. I say it's him. No, he's been solid. But yeah, it really shocked me. We talked about some of our top linebackers in the league. And of course, you got the Bobby Wagner's up there, but Jalen Smith is up on that list. And he hasn't been doing great this year, but he's still, a reliable linebacker. I think the Packers just got so much better defensively by picking him up. And, I don't know if you guys have any more to say on that, really. There's not much to say, but with that being said, I want to lead into our power rankings. Before the show, we talked and we said, hey, let's make a couple power rankings, our top 5. And I threw in some honorable mentions. We didn't necessarily have to do that, but I want to talk about who we think are the top 5 best teams in the league right now. So I think I
want this to be like a weekly thing. We're going to update this every week. We're just going to do top 5. But before we get into that, TJ mentioned who is a team that is outside the top 5, maybe 20.
I saw Pat McAfee in his show talked about it, but what is the best 1-3 team right now, you think, in the NFL? That yes, they may be 1-3, but they're starting to figure it out now. They're starting to make to where it won't be before long they could come second in their division or whatever it becomes. But as it's standing right now, what's the best 1-3 team to where their record doesn't really reflect how good of a team that they actually are?
That's a tough one for me. Honestly, looking at it, I would probably say Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 1-3. But Pittsburgh,
I don't know, man. Big Ben.
I know that. But their first 4 games, they played the Bills week 1, who they actually beat. Then they played the Raiders. Then they played Cincinnati, and then they played the Packers. I mean,
they do have a tough schedule.
That's a pretty tough schedule. They play the Broncos this week, the Seahawks next week, the Browns the next week. I mean, they
go through a gauntlet.
Yeah, that's a tough.
And it doesn't help when your quarterback's
can't move,
cover his own feet.
Yeah. Big Ben, you're an all-time great, but you got to know when to hang it up, buddy.
That's interesting. At 1-3, that's at the beginning of the season. Obviously, it doesn't seem very good, but you know what? For me, it's between Miami and New England, and I think I'm gonna go New England. I think the Patriots have shown. I mean, yeah, obviously you don't have Brady anymore. That's been known for a couple years now, but Mac Jones has actually been pretty good.
Yeah, I played Brady the other night.
Yeah, and they played against Brady and the Bucs and played really well against them. Mac Jones played really well against the GOAT.
Mac Jones technically led a game-winning drive down the field. He can't help that his kicker doinked it off the left upright.
Yeah.
I mean, tough situation, rain, pouring rain, hard wind. I mean, 56-yarder.
Let's be honest, bro. They still would have gave Brady plenty of time. Brady would have came back and won that game.
Oh yeah,
that's like Aaron Rodgers. You can't give him.
But against San Francisco, they gave him 37 seconds and gave him just enough time to move down the field.
But to answer your question, my answer would be New England. I think they're a really good team still. Obviously, they weren't playing without Stefan Gilmore, and they still will continue to not play with Stefan Gilmore because he's now in the Panthers. That's still ridiculous to me. Flying through my head, I'm super happy for. It sucks to say, but for Panthers fans, you guys need this. It's been a kind of rough time ever since 2015 or 2014. I don't know which year it was, but I mean, the Falcons are kind of in that same boat. But your GM is starting to do some stuff, man. He's starting to make decisions, and he is showing that he cares about the team and wants to win. And he's trying to put his team in the position to win. I love that for you guys. I think you guys have a very, very bright future. Sam Darnold is the real deal at quarterback. Love him. But yeah, just again to answer your question.
Oh, you didn't like that, TJ?
Still a little early to tell. Still early.
Hey, he leads the league.
I have seen, though, there's a bunch of comparisons of how everybody is doing in their first year without Adam Gase. Like, did y'all see that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so-and-so's first year without Adam Gase won a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold's first year without Adam Gase, 3-0. Like, it's like, huh.
Hey, Sam Darnold leads the league in rushing touchdowns.
So I think,
and he's a decent run threat. Like he's
good
when he's running.
He's more of like a goal line run threat, which is weird to think about. Like he's not a run threat in my opinion that you're not gonna call a design run for him.
You're not gonna spy him on defense.
Yeah,
if he gets out in the open field, you have to make sure like you gotta tackle the man. He's shifty. But yeah, again, I want to get into this top 5 power ranking.
Who's TJ? Your team.
Oh my bad, TJ.
No, you're good. I do agree. I think it's New England, but another 1-3 team that I think is finally starting to kind of figure things out. would definitely be the Texans, except that they just if Tyrod Taylor was there, I think they're not 1-3.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think without Tyrod Taylor, I think that offense is working, a little bit against themselves because, I mean, they were explosive on offense in the first 2 games, and then now it's, But before we get into the power rankings, we do have to bring up one large topic that happened, and it may be at the worst NFL team this season. I mean, unless you guys have another
I knew
terrible,
this was coming.
terrible NFL team. We got to talk about Urban Meyer deciding to do some questionable actions.
Yeah, get away.
First time, a bunch of people said, Michael Lombardi said it. This is maybe one of the first cases he's ever seen where the head coach did not travel back with the team from an away game. Urban Meyer decided to stay around, have a little fun, and now is apparently like there's no trust, no accountability, nothing good is going on inside that front office with him and the GM, and now apparently he's lost all trust from the team. I just want to know y'all's thoughts on it. How are we feeling about the whole Urban Meyer situation? Is the USC job looking mighty fine at the moment?
I've always said this. I do not like Urban Meyer. I do not like Urban Meyer because every time something goes wrong or it looks like his team will not be very good, he retires for health reasons. But then all of a sudden the next year has another job. He did it at Florida, he did it at Ohio State, and now he's doing it with the Jaguars. I don't think he will be their coach next season, in my opinion.
I don't see him making it out of week 8.
Week 8.
I mean, if they're 0-8, it wouldn't surprise me.
And they quite clearly can be 0-8. Yeah, they suck.
I do think their best game was against Cincinnati, but I don't know if y'all saw the mic'd up. I saw it where Joe Burrow said, "Just give me the ball and it's over. Put the ball in my hands and it's over."
Yeah, that's a bad man. That's a bad man.
Hey, he's Trevor Lawrence's kryptonite.
With your question about Urban, man, like that's so like irresponsible more than anything. Like, you're the head coach. You need to be showing your players the right example and at all times. And if you expect your players to get back on a bus or get back on a plane and go back to the training facilities or wherever, go back to where you live, where you practice, then you're held to the same amount of accountability. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. If starting quarterback wants to go out there and say Davis Mills, for example, not Davis Mills, Trevor Lawrence, if he's going back home after a game, if you're doing it, then he can do it. You know what I mean? That's what it shows, and that's what he has no leadership right now. He's supposed to come in and take this team by storm and try to lead them and earn their respect early, but that's not the way to do it, buddy. Like, that's ridiculous. That it blows my mind. And he did a lot of other questionable things that came out. We're not really going to talk much on that. But it's, if it's not good. It's very, very, first off, disrespectful and just like all around, just irresponsible, terrible. I lost a lot of respect for that man.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. That leads us into our power rankings from, the bottom of the league to the top. We're just going to give our top 5 teams, go for 5-1. We could talk about we could talk about them. Some of these teams are probably going to be the same. Some of them are going to be different. We don't know who we have in our top 5s. To start it off,
before we get going, this is going into week 5. This is from week 4 going into week 5. So just keep that in thought.
Yes. At number 5, I have the Los Angeles Rams. They just lost to the Arizona Cardinals last week.
Good team.
They probably would have been tops if they would have won, in my opinion. Top of the power rankings, but their offense struggled a little bit last week against the Cardinals defense. Cardinals have a very good defense, improved with J.J. Watt. So that's
I think the Rams defense struggling against Kyler Murray and that offense was the most surprising thing. They couldn't stop the run to save their life. They couldn't stop James Conner at all.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah. So that's my number 5 team.
All right, T, what's your number 5?
Number 5 team is we talked about them earlier. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dak's playing some of the best football right now that he's played in a couple years. And, I mean, he's even come out and said that, I mean, he feels like he's playing very good. I think that Cowboys team, granted, the NFC East isn't the greatest. We all know that. I mean, it's the Cowboys, you know, the Eagles, the Washington football team, and the Giants. But I think the Cowboys are a top 5 team right now. Where they go from here, I don't know. They suffered a week 1 loss to Brady. But other than that, I think it's going to be the Cowboys at number 5.
Wow, dude, that's very, very surprising. Just kidding. I, too, also have the Cowboys, number 5. Just like everything T just said, Dak playing good. Zeke is back. He's playing like himself. Tony Pollard, a great backup running back. But the thing that we need to talk about for the Cowboys is Trayvon Diggs. He's emerged as a top 5, if not top 3 corner in the league. He's been the best corner in the league this year. Secondary's playing well. Again, Micah Parsons has been playing great. Losing Jalen Smith, I don't know how it's going to react for the team, but I'm not worried about them. I think they're a top 5 team.
All right. Number 4, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the Raiders. Yes, they just lost. But I don't know. Derek Carr's been playing really good. I think their defense is not like they're not. I don't think they're a top 5 defense or anything, but I think they're a top half of the league defense, and then their offense is also a top half of the team. I think they're a very solid team, and like I said, they might not end the year top 5, but as of right now, I think they deserve to be top 5.
I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna stay same division, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers as my number 4. Justin Herbert is playing how Justin Herbert plays. I mean, he played very well last year, won Rookie of the Year. He did it and showed it against that, like you said, a very good Raiders defense. He showed it against them Monday night and lit it up on the field. I think their defense is coming together as well, to where I think they're very well a good late playoff contender at this point.
You have them going to the Super Bowl, so
I know I do.
Well, a team that I almost had going to the Super Bowl is my number 4 pick, and that's the Packers. I think the Packers have shown I mean, honestly, we're not really expecting anything less at this point. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams. They're playing solid defensively. Aaron Jones is playing good. They're just playing like the Packers do. If you have Aaron Rodgers on your team, you're expected to do good, and that's what they're doing. They're my number 4 team right now.
They had that week 1 little fluke, and since then they've been a well-oiled machine, moving and grooving.
Speaking of well-oiled machine, my number 3 team is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have, in my opinion, the best offense in the NFL with Josh Allen. They don't have a running back. Obviously, David Singletary's and Zach Moss, they're below average. But with Josh Allen as your quarterback, you are going to have one of, if not the best offense in the league.
I think I'm going to keep it same as you as number 3. It is going to be Buffalo. They are going to be, we've said Josh Allen has a chance to win MVP this year, but that team suffered just like the Packers, a little week 1 loss, and then since then have been performing well and keep moving it and keep performing to the standard that they know that they can play at.
Without that week 1 slip up, they probably are number 1 on my list.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 3. This is my Super Bowl winner projection. As we talked about in the previous video, I think they're a very good, solid, all-around team. They've been showing that they're still really good. Tom Brady's still the GOAT. He's been playing very, very good this year. Usually he starts off kind of just a solid, very good quarterback, but never like stats pop out. But this year his stats been popping out. Receivers been playing great. Dealing with a lot of adversity. Antonio Brown had his little COVID problems and everything. So their defense playing good. Mike Edwards, he's been merged. But yeah, I just think they're the number 3 team right now.
I like that. So my top 2, one of them is a team that was already named, and my number 2 is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wow.
I really liked what I saw from them on Monday night. TJ, your prediction is looking nice. I mean,
I know. It also makes me scared though as a Broncos fan because I've got to play them twice.
I mean, also the Chiefs are still there in that division. But
the Chiefs aren't the same anymore. Yeah. Think about it. None of us have said the Chiefs in the top 5.
Yeah. They'll be fine. Their defensive problems are often still really good. But
the Chargers. I mean, Justin Herbert, he's playing great. The key for them is if their defense can stay healthy. I think.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa, and then I get him and Nick confused. But Joey and then Derwin James. If Derwin James can stay healthy, he's one of the best safeties in the league.
Well, my top two keep going back and forth, but I think at number 2, I'm going to go with Aaron. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. This is the number 2 team. Aaron's been playing well. It's Aaron, MVP. I predicted it. He's going to go back-to-back MVP and win a Super Bowl this year. But, I mean, he didn't play well week 1. He admitted it and said, we got to move on from it. There's no sense in keeping it right here. He's like, every team's going to have it. And I'm kind of glad they had it week 1 to kind of shake him up to where now he's been playing lights out ever since then.
Interesting. See, my number 1 and 2, they kind of flip-flopped a little bit, but from what I've really liked what I've seen with my number 1, and that's putting my number 2 as the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm pretty sure you guys got the Cardinals as your number 1s because they've been playing like honestly the best team in the league.
Yeah, I do have the Cardinals number 1.
So do I.
I have them at number 2 because I'm really high on my number 1 team. But they've been playing great. Kyler Murray has been playing fantastic. DeAndre Hopkins has been, he's been solid. He's been there. AJ Green's actually done pretty well. They had the emergence of Rondell Moore for a little bit. He's been playing good. Their defense is playing great.
They got JJ.
In week 1, when one of your players gets 5 sacks, you're on track to have a pretty good defensive year.
Now they've been solid on defense, solid all around, great team. This leads to our number 1s.
I have the Arizona Cardinals. They're the only undefeated team left. I think they might keep that up for a couple more weeks. They've just been everything's been good. I mean, Kyler Murray is MVP candidate early season. Everybody said when they got JJ Watt, their defense was probably going to be the best in the league. Him and Chandler Jones opposite of each other. I mean, the only other duo that matches up with that is probably Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
So that's there. I think they're the unanimous number 1. I don't know who Jimmy has at number 1, but
I also have the Cardinals at 1. I mean, Kyler Murray's playing as a cheat code. I mean, the man can run, he can throw, but he's working the offense very well. And I think he's finally gaining his ground and his feet are finally underneath him enough now to where he has confidence in what he's doing. He's having confidence in his O-line to protect him to where now I see him almost as a better early on Russell Wilson, the way Russell Wilson used to be. How everyone was like, this guy can play. I think Kyler Murray is going to be better than Russell Wilson. And I'm seeing it is a bold take, but I'm seeing flashes of that now to where I could see Kyler Murray being a Hall of Famer. If he wins a ring, Kyler Murray will become a Hall of Famer.
And back to what I said earlier about the Bills having the best offense, I think the Cardinals have the most balanced. As far as Kyler Murray, they have the receivers in D-Hop and AJ Green, Christian Kirk, and Rondell Moore. And then at running back, they have a little two-headed monster with Chase Edmonds being the all-purpose back, and then James Conner is the power goal line back.
And I think they used James Conner better than the Steelers did. Well, I think the Steelers
James Conner as he was their number 1 back, and he's not.
Yeah, he's definitely a 2 back, and I like what they do. I like that when it came down to red zone, we're handing it to James Conner, and he's putting it in there whether or not we like it, and that's what they did.
Between the 20s, it's Chase Edmonds. You do what you do, and then once you get inside the red zone,
James Conner.
And that's why they got James Conner as in the top 4, top 5 for rushing touchdowns. He's been great. I do like the Cardinals. I think you can very easily put them number 1. But like you guys said, and I'm saying too, I love the Buffalo Bills, man. Buffalo Bills are my number 1 team.
I was wondering who you had at number 1.
Yeah, I was like, is he going to say the Packers? But then I remembered he had already said the Packers, so I was like, he hasn't said the Bills yet.
Dude, you're in professional leagues, NFL, and you're beating a team 40-0. I don't care who that team is. It could be the 0-16 Browns. It doesn't matter. You played, and TJ just said that Texans team is what you thought was a really good 1-3 team. They've come together as a team. They're not bad. Brandon Cooks has been playing good, but the Bills defense shut him down. Bills offense put up 40 points. That's wild.
And the pouring rain. It was pouring rain.
The starters, it took them out for the fourth quarter, basically, halfway through it.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky scored the final touchdown.
Yeah.
Hey, he's good.
That's why I'm high on them. I think they're going to make it so far. if not win it all, man. And that's
Yeah.
crazy. So I got Buffalo's Bills as my number one.
Yeah. All right. I mean, there was some surprises. I think we all had different lists.
I just couldn't put Tampa Bay in the top 5.
Yeah, I want Dallas.
They're my 6th or 7th. It kind of flip flops, but like
Honorable mention list. Yeah, I mean
they're just playing too close with teams for me to be like,
yeah,
this is that Super Bowl Tampa Bay team.
I was gonna put them in at 5, but they struggled to beat the Patriots, and I was gonna put Dallas in, but I haven't seen Dallas does this every year. I feel like they start off really good, so I got to see.
I think with Dallas, it's almost the opposite. They start off actually really terrible, and then they finish decently towards the end.
Hey, that's something that we'll find out as time goes, man. I'm excited for the rest of the season. Remember, this will be a weekly thing, so if stuff changes, injuries will happen. COVID's still a thing, so
it's affecting teams.
Yeah. So
I mean, we're seeing it firsthand. But to end the show, I do have one thing. What game are we most excited for this upcoming week? Who are we excited to see play this week? What matchup? What matchup are we liking as a team this week?
Yeah, personally for me, I'm honestly, this is going to sound weird. I like the Falcons Jets. Obviously, it's 2 bad teams, but they're playing in London, they're playing Wembley Stadium, so that's super cool.
9:30 in the morning kickoff.
Yeah, so just simply because they're playing overseas, I think that's cool. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, that's a good game. Honestly, for me, it's probably going to be the 4:00 game, the Browns versus the Chargers. I feel like those are 2 completely opposite teams in the way they play. The Browns are going to try to win every game by scoring 14 points, 21 points. They're not.
Hey, I at the end of the day,
no. If a win's a win, it doesn't matter.
If you win 7-0,
yeah. But that's the kind of they're the Browns. I mean, that's how they roll. They
had to triple team Myles Garrett last week.
Yeah, and then the Chargers, the new up and coming quarterback Justin Herbert. We talked about him. I think that'll be a great game.
I'm also excited for that game, but I think the game I'm most excited for is the 8:20 game Sunday night, Chiefs Bills.
Yeah,
we're getting the AFC Championship rematch against a struggling Chiefs defense against a functioning Bills offense. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I got Bills by 21.
Wow.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that both teams score 35 plus, but the Chiefs win.
I think Bills are winning. I don't know by how much. Probably by a touchdown.
The over/under is 56.5.
Good God, it could very well happen. Well, that's a good way to end off the show, man. This has been fun. Weekly power rankings coming. This is cool. We're gonna have a couple more, maybe small videos coming up. We're gonna continue on some mini series. And hey, we appreciate you guys. Shout out again to Elevate Nutrition. Go check them out, and have a good day. See ya.
See you guys.
See you all.